Hi. Okay. Um, are you LGBT? Are you part of the community? Do you have people around you that are they judge you or they look at you differently, or you're just like, you're feeling that negative energy and you're kind of like, what's wrong? Like, what is your deal? Why are you so drawn to me? Like, what is it? Okay, imagine being taught something when you were little. Okay, when you were little, you were taught something, and now every time you see something else that contradicts that, you're like it's like I'm seeing somebody twitch, like um, like somebody that like it triggers them. Okay, this is how Spirit is showing this to me. Um, if somebody is raised a certain way, say they're raised in a religious school or with a religious family. The Bible is a perfect example because this is where it comes from. People, okay, the Bible was translated from scrolls, okay, and it was translated by a whole bunch of different people in different ways, but it was written in a time where there was no ink and there was no paper. So how did they make these scrolls? Somebody else made them in their own biased opinion later. Regardless, imagine that twitch, okay, when you are something that contradicts that. So the scrolls were written, they mistranslated it all kinds of different ways because that specific line meant not to sleep with prostitutes. Because in those days, those cavemen, it was written by, what was that saying? It was written by cavemen, illiterate cavemen. So imagine you living on a law that you have in your head because of something somebody else taught you, and and that other person, and then you are off on your own little world doing what you want to do. And these people, every time they see you, they have a twitch because it goes against what they were brainwashed with as a child. Okay, they were brainwashed with this crap when they were little. They went to school, or their parents, they went to church, and they were taught this by, the people at church. And then some people enjoy that division. They want to feel oppressive. They want to oppress people. They want to feel oppressed. They want to oppress others because they feel oppressed. A lot of times it's projection. Like, imagine you're doing better than them, and they look at you, and they want to minimize your efforts, minimize everything because you're doing better. And maybe you're not even doing that well, and they're still jealous of you because of something that, because you're open. You should be closeted. You should be ashamed. That's where that little twitch comes in. No, but that is their perspective. It meant thou shalt not sleep with prostitutes. There is I think it was Charlie Kirk. And a student from University that was actually studying that and what the scrolls meant. And it actually meant something else because, again, it was mistranslated a bunch of times. So that famous line, it comes from the scroll, but it was mistranslated because it means thou, what is it? It meant don't sleep with prostitutes. It did not mean anything else. He never spoke of that shit because everybody was accepted generally, but there was illiterate cavemen, and there was some other bad people that were doing bad things. And in those days, they didn't want those people a part of their group, so they wanted to shun those people. And imagine that being carried on to now by illiterate cavemen. So do you follow everything in that hypocritical book that was somehow just mistranslated? Do you sell your daughters into slavery? Or is that just ridiculous? Well, so is this. What about, playing with the skin of a pig, football, wearing two blends of clothing, all the other things that contradict it. The illiterate cavemen. So a lot of this stuff was banned, was rejected. Slavery was rejected because it was outlawed, because it was inhumane. So now that fast forward, there are still people that use this to their advantage. So they see you. This is so that you can process. These people live at that twitch. They were brainwashed. You were a contradiction to everything that they were learned. It's a pattern. It's like a addict when they see something that they want and they can't have it. They're mad and they get jealous of you because you have it. I don't know. It's very small-minded and stupid. That's what it is. But they think that they're smarter than everybody else. It's an illusion. It's an illusion. It's an illusion. Spirit, what does the collective need to know about this message? They are conflicted. I'm telling you, that twitch, and you are grounded. And it makes them feel ungrounded, like they lost something, like that's not right. That's not right. He's doing something wrong. And they try to release that emotion onto you. They're projecting it because they're naive. They're stupid. The Fool is reversed. That is somebody that is naive. They're dumb. They're stupid. They're conflicted. They were taught that in school and by their parents, by whatever, by the Bible, by church, by their pastors that would take all their money and go home and spend it on whatever they wanted. And they thought somebody was praying for them or something. I don't know. Blind faith. They thought this person was, they thought this person was an extension of God, and they were performing rituals in their church because that's what it is. Karma would be to detach from that. Don't give them your energy. Manifest what you want. But they have this. If you go down that whole road, or down that rabbit hole of this is how you're supposed to live your life, on the other side, what happens? What happens to that person? They become repressed. Especially if they're gay, especially if they have children that are like that, because this person is like, this is how it's supposed to be. No. There's an imbalance. You need to come out of that. You need to come out of that. Again, this is immaturity. Stop. Time to come out of that. See it for what it is. It's not working. Ground yourself. Anyway, ridiculous, but it meant thou shalt not sleep with prostitutes, because those people were all grouped together. There was the people that drank and people that abused children and all these other craziness that they would do. Lie, cheat, and all kinds of craziness, right? That's why they did this, because they wanted a law. So, but it wasn't. It was illiterate cavemen. And a lot of it is inhumane. But some people enjoy it. Like the Republicans like to gaslight everybody to do what they want. Which is why we have Trump, because he gaslit a bunch of stupid idiots to vote for him. And here we are suffering, the rest of us, because we're smarter than the average bear. In the days of Lincoln, when that's all they use to talk about this, is Lincoln freed the slaves. Because they switched platforms years ago, very slowly, from the 1800s, the 1890s to like the 1930s. I don't remember. The New Deal, the Civil Rights Act, the Emancipation Proclamation. All those were just things that happened after that. And now, those conservatives from back then are the Trump party, because they fly the Confederate flag. That's who aligns with those values now. The ones that were letting the slaves go and they're more liberal are today's Democrats. So if you don't know your history, go research it, because you're just going on something that somebody said, and they gaslight you to do whatever they want, which is vote against your own interests. And then you have that twitch. You see somebody contradicting that twitch, and you're